Hey folks, Jerry Stevenson, Chief Redneck in Charge at the Redneck BBQ Lab, McGee's Crossroad in Benson, North Carolina. Here today in the RBL studios to show you guys what to do with the leftover spatchcock chicken that you made before and turn it into chicken salad like I do at my house so you guys can do it at yours. What you see here before us today is the remnants of the Spatchcock Chicken video, if you guys remember that we released a few months ago. This is what was left. I did this on purpose because normally our spatchcock chickens are just gone. They're devoured, they're through. But the thing was when we were talking about in that video, I just wanted to say, hey, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that spatchcock chicken if you have some leftovers, or if you just cook a couple of them instead of just cooking one of them. And the leftovers of the spatchcock chicken I had last week that I intentionally left leftovers for is here in front of you. It's been in the refrigerator, it's cooled down. I had to test it. Of course, I had to test it to make sure that it was good, and it really was. And I'm just going to show you guys how to make a simple dish with this that is not only good for snacking, it's good for supper, it's good on salads, sandwiches, or just on a cracker itself, and that would be my smoked chicken salad recipe that we do at the lab. So, before I get into this video and get my hands dirty, I want you to go now and like this video right here on YouTube. Share this video with your friends. We do this not only to show you how to do stuff, but to inspire you to do stuff. So pass it on to your friends. Get them doing the same thing. Subscribe to this channel. I know you guys already do, but if you don't, subscribe to it. Click on that bell right down here so you know when the newest videos drop. You'll get a little indication and get a little note saying, hey, look, this video is coming out. And that way you guys can see it first. And always leave us your comments and suggestions as to what you thought about this video and what content you would like to see us show you guys how to do in the future. So, now that I've said that, now that you guys have liked, now that you guys have shared, now that you guys have subscribed, it's time to hop into this smoked chicken salad recipe that we do at the lab and at my home, and you guys can do it yours. So here's that spatchcock chicken. Basically, it's that chicken that we splayed open, removed the backbone, saved the backbone for doing chicken stock later. We brined it overnight, seasoned it, put it on a smoker, tested part of it. We cooled it down. You can make this recipe with a hot chicken. I find it's easier to make it with a cold chicken, just it kind of cuts easier, chops up better. And we left it in the refrigerator, brought it here, and here we have it. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead. I removed the skin off of mine. I know a lot of people are, love the skin on chicken, but in this chicken salad recipe, the skin is something that really doesn't add to anything to it. It just is a texture thing for me. I'm a texture guy. I just don't like the skin in it. The skin, as it cools down, it's not crispy anymore. It becomes rubbery and kind of chewy. And that's not something I really want to have in my chicken salad. You guys might. You can, if you like, just go ahead and eat the skin when it comes off the smoker, but that's up to you. This recipe that we do at the lab is one that was inspired by my mother. My mother would do this. She would actually roast the chicken in her cast iron skillet pan in the oven. And that was where this came from. I'm gonna show you guys something right here if you zoom in. This chicken, as you can see, there's some red meat on this chicken. This is a part of the thigh. It's dark meat. It's not red because it's undercooked. I can promise you that. This chicken was taken up to approximately 205 degrees, which is really, really hot for a chicken because they'll dry out. Chicken will dry out unless you are doing some other techniques like the brining technique we talked of. But a lot of times when the chicken is smoking, you can tell that there'll be some of the dark meat that is a different color than the white meat, this being the breast and this being the thigh. It's not indicative of something being undercooked as much as it's something that was smoked. And if you follow the recipe for the spatchcock chicken, you know that it takes, depending on the size of your chicken, anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours long to cook that chicken. It's a low and slow process, one well worth it. Like I said before, we not only use this for chicken salad, you can use this for chicken noodle soup. My father's all-time favorite, chicken and rice soup. He was always a big chicken and rice guy. I wasn't. My mother always tried to feed it to me, and I wasn't. Something had to do with the texture. I love chicken and I love rice, but just didn't like that combination together. Something that wasn't really good to me. You can see on here too, this leg right here has a lot of dark meat on it that I'm doing a really poor job, by the way, of picking this chicken. Please forgive me. I'm just trying to get some here and speed things up so we can make this chicken salad for you within an hour. But yeah, the chicken itself, it's smoky. It's got that brine in it that we use, that salt and sugar, which still keeps it moist. Our rub that we use on it, it's actually, we rub it on the bottom and on the top. So some of this rub, the Redneck BBQ Lab all-purpose seasoning, which you guys can find at some of the retail spots right down here listed below. We're www.theredneckbbqlab.com. Find our sauce. You can find it at local retail places. Several of our retail places do ship. That Redneck BBQ Lab all-purpose seasoning is the one that we use, and I know I can hear my buddy Mike Baker, who's actually doing the taping on this right now, say we use it on popcorn, and I hear him right now saying, "Really? Popcorn? You got to try that." We've had a lot of customers come back tell us the same thing, that they've tried it on popcorn, and they were just going to let us in on a new secret, and we had already done it and hated to tell them that, but I absolutely love that barbecue seasoning is one of my favorites. It was derived from the old barbecue corn chips that I used to love as a kid. So I've gone through this this spatchcock chicken that we had left over, the one that we had cooked primarily for this video. And now I just want to kind of rough chop it. You can chop it as you want. You can chop it as fine as you want. You can, make it into pate. You can leave it in big chunks. I prefer just kind of a rough chop on mine, just to kind of get it broke down. When we start mixing this together, it will actually, a piece of skin, it will actually break down further. So we kind of stir everything up. This would be one of those cool times I could break out one of those big meat cleavers and start doing the chopping like we do our Eastern North Carolina barbecue. But just give it a rough chop, like I said. At the lab, we actually use something called a buffalo chopper. It's remnants of old they used to use a lot of times in North Carolina as a way to kind of speed the process up of having someone just sit here and literally chop this up. They would speed it up with the barbecue buffalo chopper, and that's what we use at the lab. It's much more proficient, grind stuff up, symmetrical. Give it one look over, some of this in here. Make sure everything's good. And that looks pretty good to me. Like I said, it's something that it's all up to you in terms of how you want it. If you want it thick, you want it thin, that's the way you want to chop it. That's the way you should do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this into a bowl. This is approximately, probably 2 pounds of meat. Didn't cook a what I call a big bird. We cooked a rather small bird. This is live television, one take. All right, now that we got that done, we're gonna put celery into this, 2 ribs of celery. I always like to cook stuff with different textures in it, and the celery gives it a crunch that, that I like. Just some of the background, it and the pickle give it a note, little spicy, crunchy note. One of the other things, you could probably do this in a food processor, and that some of you folks may be like, well, that's what I do at home. And that's fine. This is how my mother and grandmother used to make it. They didn't have the food processor. They were the food processors. And the other thing I think with the food processor is we tend to pulverize stuff a little bit too much. And like I said, I'm not a guy, I don't really like the pate texture of stuff, more so than I like it kind of chunky. Right here we've got basically 1 cup of bread and butter pickles that I went ahead and pre-chopped myself, rough chopped again. We're gonna put those in there, along with 2 egg whites. These are large eggs, once again, rough chopped. If you do not like egg, this is one way to hide a little bit of extra protein in there, because this just gives it a texture in there that just kind of helps bind and hold things together. To that, we add a little bit of our Redneck BBQ Lab seasoning, approximately 2 tablespoons. That's one of the things we do at the lab. Hawaii barbecue seasoning and chicken salad, smoked chicken salad sandwich. I think our barbecue seasoning, like I said, was that flavor concept that I used to eat as kids, those corn chips that I loved so much as a kid. And I think it just goes in there and adds a little bit of a smoky background to that already smoky chicken, but it just gives it this kind of onion and garlicky and some of the other spices we've got in there that just kind of makes it go, makes you just kind of think and wonder what it is. The next thing that we will put in here is the juice of a half a lemon. This needs a little acidity. This is a lot of fat in there, and I think that lemon juice is one of the things that kind of helps me give it that background, that acidity base. Seeds are not something that you want to throw in there, Jerry. It happens. The next thing we put in there is not mayonnaise. This is Duke's. And Duke's basically is synonymous for mayonnaise. It is mayonnaise in the South. This is Duke's. This is approximately a cup in here. I'm going to add part of it at a time. This is where recipes kind of vary. The salt, the heat, the sugar in some recipes, you know. It all varies to how we want it and how you want to cook it. And mayonnaise is one of these things. I'm one of these guys that just thinks just enough mayonnaise that binds and holds us together is what I want. I really don't want a lot of mayonnaise in here to overpower what I'm doing or make it into just a mayonnaise big old salad. So let's add part of it in right now, probably a half a cup to start with. Let's see what we've got. And like I said, my chicken salad's a bit more chunkier than others. One of the things is I'm taking this spoon, and as I rotate it, I'm pressing it, and it will break down the chicken, you know, those chunks a little bit. And pressing it down is just one of the things that I do when I make it at home, is it'll help bind everything together a little bit tighter and combine things a little bit more easy. Personal preference thing, I guess. So That looks pretty good. Let's give it a taste for our seasoning. I've laid off on salt as you guys saw, but let's see what it takes, what it needs. Pretty good as it is, but maybe just a bit more mayonnaise to this. So it will take the full cup of mayonnaise. I love that Duke's mayonnaise. If you've never had it before, I encourage you to find it. We grew up on it here, North Carolina. A lot of people have. Get it at Amazon, online, retail grocers. And that, I think, is about where I want it to be. And there's one way I can find out if it is. Got me a little crunchy bread right here. Take a clean fork. Let's put a little bit of that on there. I know you guys are watching this. I always talk about smelling stuff, and that's one of the things you really get to smell. It's really, really smoky, and it's not overpowering, but you're like, wow, it's really smoky. But let's see how we did. It needed that extra little bit of mayonnaise. Balance things out. You got the smoke from the chickens, the first thing that hits you. The pickle, the acidity from that half a lemon I squeezed in there. Could use a little bit more. Like I said, it's all to taste. And you got the texture in there. You can actually taste a little bit of the egg and that Redneck BBQ Lab, that competition blend seasoning in there. You can taste it in the background. Really, really, really tasty. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try one more. It's good stuff. The last step in this process is not really eating it. You really want to make this and then put this into the refrigerator and let it sit overnight. The flavors are going to concentrate, they'll blend, they'll come together a little bit more, a little bit better. You may have to put a little bit of salt in. As you notice, I had salt, did not need any. I didn't think it needed any. Somebody may. You always put it on, it's hard to take it off. But I encourage you to make this, put this in the refrigerator at least for an hour before serving it. You'll thank yourself for doing it. But anyway, this is Jerry Stevenson here at the RBL Studios, showing you guys like what to do with leftover spatchcock chicken. You know, if you've seen this video before on spatchcock chicken, this is just one of the things that you guys can make. I'm here with my friend Mike Baker, Event Webcasting. We're putting out these videos for you guys, so please, please, please go down here and like this video. Share this with your friends, subscribe to this channel, and click on that bell so you're notified when videos like this come out. Leave your comments and suggestions. I know some folks, different takes. There's raisins that can be put in this. There's nuts that can be put in this. There's several different ways to cook it or to make it. And I really don't think that there's a wrong way, except if you don't try to make this recipe. So once again, Jerry Stevenson, Chief Redneck in Charge, the Redneck BBQ Lab. Just dropping you down a little bit more knowledge, some of our recipes to inspire you. You guys be kind, smile, be patient with one another. The world needs it. It's free and easy to do. Until next time, love you guys.